All right, what is going on, everyone, and a happy Wednesday morning. So, second Wednesday morning live in a row. I think we're going to keep this as a continuous thing, except we won't do next week. Maybe we'll do like Thursday morning live. I will not be here on Wednesday. But pre-market hours, we are a couple minutes till the open. We're going to go through the open, then we'll see how things go, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, we'll go about an hour, or so on this live for those who are coming in after the stream. What am I watching right now? Well, the Bitcoin plays right now. So, Riot pushing up. I still want $60. That's kind of my target on Riot, so I still want to see $60 hit. So we'll see if we can get that. Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin right here, pushing up beautifully. So last night, Bitcoin pushes up, then gets a hard pull. It pulls down hard, and then it comes back down from like 55.8 down towards like 53.5-ish, or 53 even 3, and then has just ripped back up. So now it's back at 56,000 right now. All-time highs, if we zoom out on this chart, all-time highs put us, keep going out, like 58 or so. 58.3 in change is where all-time highs are for Bitcoin. So see what happens. It's going to be it should be a fun morning. I'm in the scale out phase, so that's at least what I'm doing. The markets are nice. Let's take a peek at the markets too really quick. Green. So everything's green. No, tech's up another 1.5%. We had CPI numbers this morning, and right when that happened, boom, things popped. So take a peek. Essentially, let's take a peek at SPY. Let's just see SPY to see how look at this. So SPY CPI numbers come out here around like 8:30ish, and then boom, the thing pops up from 386 or 387 up to 388, 389. Now it's at 389.30. So looks like market wants to open nice and green. Now the key here, though, we're gonna watch SPY. The key is 390. I think the key is $390 on SPY. We get over that level, I think we're going to see a pretty decent breakout, and we honestly could even hit all-time highs like today. Who knows? We'll see. So a lot of these Bitcoin plays are pushing up. DPW looking good. Let's take a peek at DPW. Yeah, this thing has actually pushed up quite well. Hit 419 in the pre-market hours here at like 4-ish a.m. Let's see. That's at 6:45 a.m. It hit that 419. So DPW is up 10%. Yeah, Riot's up 10%. EBON, another one that I have, is up 7%. I'm scaling out. I sold some. I'm looking for $8 as my target there, and then I'll ride the rest. SOS, I sold half. I still want to see how this one can go. I had some from yesterday. I sold half into some of the spikes, and so we'll see. SOS, I think, has the potential to go really crazy. They came out with their, kind of response to Hindenburg in a sense. So we have that on the table. They were up 20% yesterday, up 3% here in the pre-market hour. So we'll see if SOS can get the juice. I mean, that's why I'm holding just 100 shares, just because I wanted to see, what we can get out of it. So that's at least my plan. But I got to start scaling some stuff out. If we have another really, really green day, I'm probably going to go all cash or very close to all cash going into tomorrow, because I'm going away next week or Friday, and I want to get my account. We can take a peek at how the account's up to. The account is up. We're up 2,000 at least as of right now on the week. The account's at 50,700 or so. So the goal is to get to 100,000 by September. So we're almost like halfway, or about halfway to that on that challenge from 15 to 100,000. So in terms of time, but in terms of the account, we're doing really good. So I'm going to reset the account back to a margin account, because it's currently a cash account. So I want to do that. I'm going to do that while I'm away. Makes sense. So that's the plan. Costs. Let's take a peek at costs. A lot of these, even Wall Street bet, names are popping here. We had EXPR. Express had earnings, and they popped on earnings. So we can take a look. Express is falling off a little bit into the open, at least as of right now. Cost is falling, but it's kind of, this could be a decent idea. Dip setup for today. There's going to be a lot of plays. Let's take a peek. I wanted to see if where's GameStop at, because this is going to be kind of funny to see. GameStop's up. It popped here at the, it had a nice little gap up at 4 a.m. And then popped almost 300. So 300 is the next level on GameStop. Can we get over 300? We'll see. What do you think will happen in the cannabis sector? I think we're setting up for more here. I think what you have to understand is that we had a big run, and the problem is that was awesome, right? And so, and even in the overall market too, that run was awesome. Let's take a look at Tilray. I like Tilray because it's like a kind of a good kind of gauge for the sector. Tilray, TLRY, is up today. Nice. It's up nice. So Tilray, the question is going to be, can it get over $30? That's the key, at least for me. $30 is going to be key. We get over 30 and Tilray holds over 30, then it looks like 35 is pretty much in reach. I would even take that trade too. personally, and I was going to do it. I had my hand on the trigger. Actually, I took the trade. I think it was back about a week or two ago when Tilray was up around 30. I took the trade and then it dropped below. It popped over in pre-market and then it fell below, and I cut myself off for like a small loss. So that was it. But I want to see, I think a nice 30 to 35 is like a pretty nice, solid, high percentage chunk. Whereas if I was taking that trade myself, Tilray's bouncing off of support right now. We take a look at the daily chart on Tilray. Let me put my indicators up. We got to put the MAs. So the 50 SMA on the daily, it bounced beautifully off 50 SMA. So it looks like it could make a run. 30's key, then 35, and over 35, over 36, we can get kind of crazy. But I think what we're seeing is we're starting to see some more news coming out about. I think post stimulus, you probably want to start thinking about getting into these weed plays now, because post stimulus, what's one of the next priorities for right now for Congress? I think that passing cannabis laws is a priority. So I think that's going to be key. So that's going to be interesting. And you want to be in early. You don't want to be the guy getting in, once everybody else is in. So here's the downtrend currently on Tilray. The downtrend right here, we got to get up over this 26, 27, and then it probably makes a pop up towards 30. So we'll see. FSR, let's take a peek. FSR has been interesting. I sold some more covered calls up in the 30s this week or something. Yeah, it's putting in a higher low. I'm just letting it chill. I'm not really too worried about it. This is just, for me, it's a longer term play, but also they popped up here. They have over 14,000, I think, in registration or in reservations. They just hit over 14,000 for their Fisk erosion, which is pretty cool to see. So let's see. KMPH was interesting. I played that one early. I played that one really early. I played it back here. It popped. It came back down. Market was like selling off, so I bought it down here around 6, and then it pushed up here, and I sold it down up towards 10-ish, and I just took my profits there. For me, I'm looking like that's just my style. I like the high percentage chunks, and then I didn't want to mess with the FDA stuff. So yeah, I would say some of those cannabis plays, they're probably because we're probably going to get that next kind of run in the cannabis sector, I think. Once the stimulus gets passed, which I think it's supposed to happen today, they're supposed to sign it today or pass it in the House today, essentially, and then Biden has to sign it. But so I mean, technically, we're not out of the woods yet. There could be some tie-ups, but once that gets passed, we're probably like, what's next? I think people are thinking, cannabis. So that's at least my take. So I'm going to look at Riot for the open. Riot, the gap. Here's the gap. There's a gap that I have drawn in here. The gap is from like 57 to 60. So I want to see that gap get filled. And that's where my price target's at, $60 or just shy of 60. So let's see how this one goes into the open. Market is now open. I'm watching Riot first, and then I have, SOS, my other crypto plays on the watch as well. We'll see. Markets are opening nice and green. So if this holds up, we'll see. And you see a lot of at the open. You see profit taking, panic selling potentially, or whatnot. I gotta lock in my gains. So we'll see. ENVB flush before open. Yeah, look at that. ENVB now pushing up here. Over 571 would be a nice push probably to 6 fairly easily on ENVB. VWAP down around $5. So we'd like to see on ENVB, you would like to see $5 hold. If not, then we'll get it potentially a dip down below, but we'll see. If $5 can't hold, you want to see like 480-ish hold. That was a low in the few minutes before the market opened. So, and I have, by the way, for those who are interested, I'm using 5-minute candles. I like just to kind of shake out some of the noise. I just use 5-minute candles mostly now. So that is why the charts may look a little bit different. But here we go. ENVB up over this 571 would be interesting. Let's see. Sorry if I missed some stuff. Buying Tilray. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's somewhat speculative, right, still on Tilray. But, if you play it down to like, maybe you give it down to like, a few dollars to the downside for right here, your upside is so much higher. So I would say, $30 is key. You could even take some profits at 30. And then if it breaks above, hold that for the push to 35. And here it is. Here it is. Look, ENVB over this 570. And just like that, 10-cent move, 2 seconds. So that's a little breakout for you guys. And usually when you clear over the pre-market high, that's usually a good sign, usually, for the momentum. So we'll see if this one holds up. This one does look like it has some solid momentum. So we'll be watching this one. Let's go back. Let's see. What else do I have to watch? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to start selling out of my oil plays for now. And we'll see if I get back in next week once I, go all cash for the weekend and stuff. But so I'm going to have to start doing all that. I have these free stocks that I have to sell. I got a bunch of these Ken, whatever Ken is. I have 16 Ken. Let's sell that at like whatever the price is at. Let's see if it sells. Filled. Okay. So that's out. Well, now it's extra cash in the account. Riot, here it goes. So look at this. Look at this. If you wanted a Riot dip, look at this thing. Look at this kind of, profit takers in the first few minutes of the market, right? The stocks hits up to 58.49, and then it drops down in the first 5 minutes of the open down to 56.30. And immediately you're up $2 off of that right now, which is like nice 3 to 4%, which is beautiful. That's an idea, right, of a scalp trade. You're watching Bitcoin, right? You're looking to Bitcoin. You're monitoring Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't pulled back substantially. It's still over 56,000. And you look to Riot. Riot dips pretty hard. There could be kind of a mismatch. Boom, there it is. And now Riot looks like it wants to break over the pre-market highs of 58.49. So there it is. Riot just pushed over that. I have a sell at 59.43 because I like to make sure I get out. It may have that 60 resistance. Maybe it won't. But I want to make sure that I get my shares taken off. I only have 25 shares left. I think I had like 60 or so 2 days ago. I've been scaling out. And so we'll see. We're about 45 cents away from taking profits there. And then we'll watch our other plays and take profits as we see fit. So that's the plan for at least what I'm doing. And then we'll watch some other stuff. LGHL should be another solid play too. This is a kind of an underrated Bitcoin play. And as we speak, look at this thing popping up. So over 345 gets interesting. Now, LGHL, if we go back, what do we have on LGHL? It was up there over 6 back when Bitcoin was at its high. So this is an interesting one. I think if it gets over 4, this is a key area right here, kind of a gap. Here's your gap. If it gets over 415, 420-ish, it probably runs to 450 pretty quickly. So I think LGHL is a solid one as well. What I think was pretty cool to watch yesterday was as you saw Bitcoin pushing up, a lot of stocks lagged. So that's why I picked up EBON, was kind of a lagger, and it's what do we got? We're like close to our next PT, but it was kind of a lagger. So I picked it up in the pre-market hours yesterday at 613. I picked up a couple hundred shares at 613. I sold a good chunk already, so I only have 100 left. But that was a pretty fun, like kind of in a sense. I was like, hey, if this runs today, I'll take a day trade. If not, I'll swing this one for a day or two. We'll see. And so I'm riding this one up as, now I'm pretty much at the point on my crypto plays where I've taken some profits. So I'm just going to kind of ride the wave and ride the momentum with some of these plays as Bitcoin holds up. So look at this. I was 10 cents off. 59.33 hits. I had to sell at 59.43. So on Riot. So we'll see if we can get that hopefully soon. Lovely scalp on ENVB. Yeah. Let's pull up Tilray. Yeah, so okay, so for example, right, like Tilray, right, I would say I wouldn't want to see it going below the 50, closing below the 50 SMA, which is down towards like 22. So yeah, you take a decent risk, but it's also over this downtrend line now. So this looks pretty solid for a break to the upside. And I think the move will be in that direction once stimulus passes, because it's like, okay, what's next? Everyone's always forward looking. Everything's always looking ahead. So that's, you want to make sure you're kind of on top of that. And it looks like, you may see some volatility right now, but understand you have down to about 22, maybe $20. I wouldn't want to see it going below there. But that's probably what you're looking at least until right then. I think you probably have a good $10 profit at least if it makes a move up towards 36. So let's see. Back to Riot. Of course, I didn't get that fill, and now it's right back down. I wonder if Bitcoin's doing anything. 56. It's still holding 56. Market kind of pulling back a little bit from where it opened, maybe. So that could be it. SPY, yeah, popped up quick, and then it just pulled back. Nasdaq has, let's pull up the 5 minute. And then Nasdaq popped up and is pulling back. So yeah, I guess I can see things are pulling back. You're seeing profit takers and stuff like that. So So we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. Another one that I traded yesterday for a day trade was CAN. This one was interesting, but it because here's why I liked it. It was in this kind of consolidation of the crypto play, and it got up here towards like 25, and I was like, okay, over 25, the all-time highs here are like 25.70 something. So I like that, and it broke out over that 25, and it popped to like 29 or 30 yesterday. So I took my profits on that one. I just took it for a day trade. Could have played it for a swing, but I just took my profits there and moved on. That was at least just my trade. So that, like a lot of those crypto plays, you're seeing lots of laggers, you're seeing leaders, laggers, and that's kind of where I've been navigating right now. Bitcoin's been hot. VISL, let's take a peek. Where is my VISL? Okay, so let's see. 1 hour chart. Yeah, it looks really good. Looks like a solid uptrend too. I mean, if you kind of ignore what happened like on, was it like Friday or Thursday when it dropped to 238, it's putting in nice higher lows. It's doing a nice little move. We want to see it getting up over this 350. I have I have 100 share sell there just to lock in some gains from that I bought. I bought some like around 3, so I figured I'll sell some there, and I have to sell it before the end of the week, at least for me. But that is just me though. I really don't want to see VISL. I have it in a different account too. I really would hate to see VISL running massively next week when I'm not in, but it is what it is. I gotta switch my scanner here to the top gainers on today. Let's take a peek at how this is looking. XELA popped up, but it got halted. So I made a video. I filmed it last night, but I want to post it like next week. VWAP video, so like how to use VWAP, what it means, and how to use it for a trade. And I used XELA as an example, so that's gonna be a fun one to look at. Come like next week. That popped up. That had a dip and then rip into the right here after open. So that's interesting. Let's see. PLTR is getting a little juice over 25. PLTR is trying to, I can extend this box really quick. It's trying to get out of this kind of box that I have, this range, so it's trying to pop up. I wonder what Tesla's doing. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is at 696. It popped over 7, hit like 720-ish. It hit 717 quickly and then is selling off, at least as of right now. So, this thing was nuts. I mean, the move on Tesla was honestly kind of crazy. It did break out of the downtrend, though. So that's good to see. Okay. Besides I don't know. I haven't really looked into let's see. Pine. This is a decent. I haven't looked into these enough to tell you to be completely honest. Actually, I wonder how is O doing right now. I haven't even watched their chart. This is one that's just like I just have money in it. And that's it. Yeah, this is just kind of consolidating. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest, about how much they move. I mean, I think there's still recovery potentially here for O. Pine had done a pretty nice recovery back up to where it was. Alex, let's take a look at this one. Alex has, still has some more room to recover. So, I mean, I would probably say just chart-wise in terms of there's still a potential, actual gains on the stock on top of the dividends, on top of that kind of dividend. So I think that Alex and O are probably better looking charts in terms of they have more upside. Pine, I haven't looked into the company enough to know. Just like, fundamentally, I love it, for this reason. So I don't know exactly, but chart-wise, I mean, I do like Alex and I do like O with the range that they kind of have. Yeah, the way these Bitcoin plays are running, seems like it is easy money. You just have to have if you have Bitcoin pulled up, you're literally like it's like a cheat code almost for some of these Bitcoin plays, especially if you're like a day trader. If you have 2 screens, pull up Bitcoin on one screen, pull up your your list of Bitcoin mining stocks or your Bitcoin related penny stocks or whatever, and you could play them like here and there for a few cents, a scalp here, a scalp there. It's been fun. And also like you want to, that's why people always say, right, have Bitcoin pulled up and use that as a guide. Quite literally, like that's what you could be doing right now. I'm not really the day trader, I'm more the swing trader. So yeah, but yeah, so I mean, let's see what is going on. So yeah, the market's pulling, Nasdaq's pulling back a little bit. That's why I think we're seeing like some of these blockchain names pulling back. So Riot's pulling back. Yeah, we'll see if we can get that profit target right there up towards, it got close. I mean, I'm okay. If I had a target of 60 and I think it's 59.33, as long as Bitcoin holds up, I'm going to stay in. So Bitcoin, there's no, for example, like Riot right now on this dip, it's probably not a terrible scalp idea. So let's take a peek. I might even take it right now. 56.2 on Bitcoin. What I'll do is I'll double my position. So here's I'll do for a scalp. So I'll buy 25 shares of Riot because I have 25 right now. So I'll double my size at 56.5. Let's see if it fills. If it fills, great. If it runs up from here, then I miss it, right? It is what it is. I don't want to get too kind of greedy with my entries because it's already kind of popping up. So now it's already popping up. But for example, right, 56.5, I might put it up to 56. I'll put it up to 56.6. And I'll leave it there and I'll say, okay, if it hits, it hits. Now it's up $1. So just like that, literally within seconds of me talking about it, right, we're noticing, right, Bitcoin is still holding up fine. Nasdaq pulled back. Nasdaq's back up over 1%. Bitcoin is running back up. I'm going to take it at 57. I'll take it down to 57. If it hits, it hits. If not, then I miss it. But okay, we're in. So we got those 25 shares at 57, and I'll do like $1 scalp. So I'll sell those 25 shares, and maybe this doesn't work out. I'll sell them at 58. Literally just like a $1 scalp, right? It's like 2%. I'll take my money if I get it, and that's it. So I'll set that up, and we'll see if it happens. If it happens, great. But why am I doing it? Bitcoin right here at 56.2, which is getting very, very close to the highs we had this morning. We're looking at the Nasdaq on the bottom right. Nasdaq, SPY, they're all green. They were down. They were up. Nasdaq's up over 1% now, so this should probably hit. And now look at this. So we're a couple cents off from hitting this. Let's see, 30 cents away from hitting that, and that's just a $1 scalp. Fairly quick, fairly easy money. Now, if I was to go with larger size, you can see the potential that you have there. Now, I'm not a huge day trader. I'm not a huge scalper, at least as of right now. So I don't do large size. I pretty much have my swings, and look at that, filled. So a $1 scalp in about a minute, that's the type of easy money in a sense that we're seeing. And it's easier said than done, but there it is. There's an example. So that was fun. And now I still have this is kind of an example of trading around a core size. So I have a core size from a significantly lower average that I'm looking for a higher price target, but in the meantime, I see a dip because I've been watching the stock. I've been watching Riot. This was a pretty nasty dip down here to 56. So I see those types of dips. I see that kind of overreaction. I'm watching Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still holding up great. We're looking at the overall markets. Markets are holding up just fine. Nasdaq is holding up over 1%. SPY's up nearly 1%. Dow's up 1%. We're looking good. We're not seeing, if we see a pullback in the markets, then maybe you don't take that trade. But everything looked good to me, so that's why I took it. Okay, let's see. AMC, let's take a peek at AMC. Wow, look at this. This is actually pushing out almost $12. AMC is looking, look at this chart. I mean, next target for me here in AMC, because this is a gap. See this kind of gap that we have? So from this candle down towards this candle, this is our gap, which puts us down towards from 1025 up towards, it looks like almost 13. So I would not be surprised for AMC to make a run towards 13 today. If the markets stay fairly elevated, I would not be surprised for AMC to hit 13. It looks pretty good. And over 13, this thing can get really interesting. So, also don't they have earnings very, very soon? They have earnings soon, if I'm not mistaken. If not earnings today, I believe today actually. Sens diabetes news. Let's pull up Sensonics. This is a fun one as well. Look at that. Look at that 50 SMA bounce. Now, okay, the bodies. What you also got to watch is you got to watch the bodies of candles and how they hold up, because you can see wicks like this. This is this massive wick, and I'm going to have a video out very, very soon going over candlesticks, what the wick means, and the 3 different types that you mostly use: candlesticks, hollow candles, and then Heikinashi. I use hollow candles. They tell a different story, and I explain that in that video. But that said, look at this kind of wick down to 190. Okay, but then them end up closing up around that 50 SMA. So that 50 SMA, in my eyes, it held. It pretty much held. Think of it as use it as a buffer. Think of it as an area to the upside, area to the downside. If a rough area around that 50 SMA holds, that's kind of how it is. That's why trading is an art. It's not an exact science. I always say that. I forget. I don't know where that quote came from, but I will always say that quote. But the beautiful bounce off that 50 SMA, beautiful. And so with the markets being up too, this is definitely boding well for Sens and for just a lot of stocks. I mean, I think it's look at that. SPY is over 390 now. So we were watching this level, right? Remember we were watching, look at that. So remember how we had that resistance up there and we broke above it briefly at the first few minutes of the open and then pulled back pretty hard. But now look at this. Now we're kind of confirming if we can hold over this 390, we may be looking to confirm over that 390 and SPY may make a run for all-time highs very, very soon. So this should be interesting. I'm in Riot. Yeah, that's my thought on the way I'm playing Riot is just simply like I'm playing it because I'm playing it with momentum here and I'm scaling out on the way. So I'll scale out a good chunk of my position here at 60, and then the rest of it I'm going to ride up until I see Bitcoin pull back or I see the momentum stop in Bitcoin. So we'll see. HEPA, I wish I had bought more instead of trim my position out. Unfortunately, on this one, I still want to see 250 plus. I think 270 on HEPA. So this is an interesting one. It came down under this $2 and it held up pretty well in the mid ones, and now it's recovering quite well. I want to see over 240 and then a run towards this gap right here towards like 270. So that's my target, 270 on HEPA. Realistically, I have a 269 sell, so we'll see. I'll probably double my position, or I'll get back. I mean, we'll see if it gets back over 240 and it clears over that level. That's where I might add to it as it's breaking out into this gap. But that's just my plans. This is why I gave this one some time. I know it fell below 2. Market was rocky. Insiders bought it 2. I felt pretty confident that $2 was a decent entry, and so my average is at 2 right now. So I trimmed it. I had a lot more. I trimmed it down though when things were kind of rocky. So how is SOS doing? Let's take a peek at this guy. It's kind of having it's having its struggles. So let's see. Market's still kind of staying where it's been. SOS is doing its thing. It's doing its little, dance. And I have 100 left of those. I have, where's the other one that I have? EBON. EBON's kind of fallen off. It got so close. It was, again, 6 cents off from my sell that I had in pre-market, so that missed that. But, it's fine. ANTE is ripping, right? Let's see if I can pull it up on the gainer list. It's up 26%. Look at this thing. This is another crypto play, another Bitcoin play. This thing, oh yeah, look at this. It's got a gap. This is an interesting play here. So it's got a gap from 525 down towards like where it's at, 450. So this is a solid area, I would say. If come on, let me grab this. There it is. This is the gap. So I would like to see this thing hitting. I would say $5. I would put a target at 5, and if it breaks over 525 to 540 ish. Yeah. So this is actually not a bad idea. If it holds over 450, 450's got to hold. So this is why I like drawing these things in. So this way I can come into the 5-minute chart and say, okay, how is this guy looking? This could be a stock to watch on a dip. I might, potentially take this one on a dip. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. Bitcoin is looking super strong. We'll just keep watching. I mean, 58. Once this thing gets closer to 58, we can zoom out. But we're just gonna watch this short-term movement. It's looking pretty solid. So it wants to party. So also for ANTE, if you were interested in playing this stock, right? Buying it up here is a little bit. You're playing a breakout. If you're an experienced breakout trader, you can you're just fine. That's great. But if not, back down towards VWAP would be a better spot. So it looks like VWAP right now is at like 425. So down towards like 430-ish. If you can get it in the 430s, that would potentially be a better ad zone for ANTE, I would say. Or are the Oilers getting some pop? Yeah, HUSA is pushing up a little bit. Interesting. PED is pushing a tiny bit. I got to trim those, a little bit while I'm ahead in a sense. But actually, let's take a peek. What is oil doing? So the 10-year, let's take a look at the 10-year really quick too, just to get the 10-year treasury. It's pulling back. Once it gets under 150, I think the market rips pretty hard, or it, at least will stay elevated. Crude's up, crude's up 1.5% today, so that could be why oil's pushing. So some of those oil plays are pushing a little bit. So hopefully we get a little run on those guys. Let's see. GME 290. Nuts. That thing is nuts. 300 is key on GME. 300 is the next level. Yeah, okay, so 296 actually is the pre-market high. So over 296, interesting, and then we'll see 300 will be key on that guy. PLTR up 7% today, up to $26. That's pretty cool to see. GameStop, look at this chart. I mean, look, this is a beautiful looking chart. This wants highs. This wants all-time high. And the second move here has been sustained. Look back to, I mean, okay, there was a lot of crazy hype and stuff. I feel like less hype behind it right now. It's less in the news. But the move is a lot more sustained, and it's been pretty good. Look at this. This is just a beautiful play. So 300 will be key, and then we'll see how it goes from there. CNCs. Let's take a look at that guy. Yep, look at that. Another 50 SMA bounce. Look at that beautiful bounce around $4. Now it's up to 5. And this thing's got range too. I mean, back when Bitcoin was up at this point, this thing was trading, significantly higher than where it's at right now. So downtrend right here, roughly, rough. Breaking out of the downtrend. This could be a nice pop here. Meanwhile, as we speak, Nasdaq is ripping. Nasdaq's up 1.5% on the day, which you thought after being up like nearly 4% yesterday, you'd have a pullback today. Nope. Those CPI numbers helped though this morning. The CPI data helped. PLTR up 8%. This is starting to finally rip. I want to see how. Let's take a look at ARK. Let's take a look at ARK's funds. ARK K up 4% again today. They got a lot of heat, right? Kathy Wood got a lot of heat, but again, right? I think it's crazy for the people who are calling her out, and I'm not here to defend her or this. You can say what you want, but the reality is that let this play out and see what happens. If her thesis is right, she doesn't care about being right today, right? She was buying the dip on some of these stocks, and the tech stocks were down, but what are you going to do? Sell for a loss? If she believes in the companies, if they believe in the companies longer term, these are the dips that you want to be buying, right? So she got a lot of heat, but if you take a look at their performance over the past year, I mean, you're going to get these pretty heavy pullbacks when it happens. So, but up 4% today on ARK. I have some ARK in a long-term account too, so that's nice. I can't complain about that. As we speak, what is going on? Let's take a peek. What's the normal plan? CLVS, I'm also in. This is pushing up. I have a target at 633, so we'll see if we can get that. It's close, so we'll see if that hits. VISL 328, FRX, the only stock that have, and some of these stocks on the left-hand side are also in my IRA, which they show up under my positions, even though they're technically not in my short-term account, which is what we're pretty much trading on. So some of that stuff's a little bit skewed, a little bit. Let's see. CCIV making a run. I think CCIV, yeah, nice one as well. I liked it a couple days ago, or even now as a speculative longer-term play. Give it a shot, hold it in a long-term account. Same thing. It's the same. It goes under the same boat as like Fisker. It's in the same price range, and they got production sooner than Fisker. Give it a shot. The thing goes to $50 again, you double your money in a year or two. It's a decent risk reward I would take. Personally, especially with the EV space right now, I would take that risk. Love the channel. Awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna do these. Wednesdays. Now, not next Wednesday, but we'll do it maybe Thursday or Friday. So just think Wednesday mornings, we'll generally do an open live, and then we'll do Sunday nights. This way I kind of do 2 live streams a week, I guess, minimum. Sunday nights are usual prepare for the week, kind of what's going on, and then Wednesday mornings as well. So that's that. Let's see. Riot is just kind of hanging out. I want to see a bigger, it's consolidating around VWAP, which is sitting at like 57.5. So we'll see if we can get a bigger move on that one. How's Bitcoin doing? It's still up over 56. That's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Yeah, the thing with some of those momentum plays in terms of chasing them, I understand. I've learned the hard way on those things because that's just not my style. I don't do that stuff. So I stay away most of the time. If I do, then yeah, I would take for example, XCLA play, right? If I do, I take a dip buy. I don't buy a breakout. I'm just not the best breakout trader. And if you're going to buy breakouts, I would recommend you have either hotkeys or you have some way to get in and out quickly, or sometimes you can set your order. For example, if I was to buy a stock right now on Webull, I can do a limit buy, but I can also put in a stop loss and I take profit. So I can put in an area like, okay, the second I put this trade on, it's immediately going to put up my sells at my price target, and it's also going to give me a stop loss at my stop loss. So you can do those. That's a kind of a way to eliminate the emotion out of a trade. Either it happens the way you want it to happen, or it doesn't, and you're out. And either way, you're in or out. You're not. Your downside risk is calculated and minimized by you when you make the trade. So that's a decent idea, a decent way to go about it, especially when starting out, and see how you do with smaller money, so you don't have to risk too much. I would recommend going about that. I should, when I get into more of the scalp stuff, I probably, would use that. Maybe I wouldn't use the stop loss. I'm not a huge stop loss fan. I'm just not, because I think you can easily get your stop loss triggered and the stock rips right back up. So I don't like using stop losses personally, but at least have the automatic take profit in, so that you immediately, when you put your buy in, it immediately is going to set your sell at that price. So I think it's helpful. But yeah, with time, studying the charts, with you'll understand how stuff works. And also, it's also about kind of timing in a sense. So if you start playing around with scalps, or you're playing around with these top gainers and these runners, it works, right? When everything's hot and these things are running, it's great. But when there's a slower market, like even like last week, and nothing was holding up, it's a little bit different. So there's always times where you kind of push down the gas a little bit more, and you can kind of be a little more bold and go a little bit harder. And then there's times where you want to kind of step back and say, hey, let's be a dip buyer today. Let's scalp for dips. I'm not looking for breakouts. The momentum hasn't been there lately, and so you're kind of waiting. And eyes the past couple of days, EYES seems to have turned the tide. When things were slow, that seems to have turned the tide. So we'll see what happens. What's up with Bitcoin? It's still up there. It's not gonna make any drastic moves. Please do more scalps. Yeah, I mean that's the plan. The plan is that, okay, so what I've been noticing, and we'll see, this is kind of just my generalization or my realization, I guess, of what's been going on. So there's periods of time when swings are in full force for me, or like the market's healthy enough for swings. Ultimately, right, we got to judge by the overall market. If the overall market's not healthy and you're seeing a pullback, which can happen at any point for any reason, any news, then maybe that's not the best time for swings. But you could do during the periods, I would say, of like November, so like Thanksgiving, like up before Thanksgiving, you want to start finding your swings. And then from then all the way through like February is rock solid, like healthy market, penny stocks, small caps, things are hot, right? Then you can potentially see a pullback. Well, like we're seeing right now, we get a reset, which we're seeing. I would think the spring is pretty strong. My guess. We'll see if how that comes, how that pans out. I'm thinking the spring stays strong, and then as we get into July, and June, July, August, September, that's when things slow down. So there's periods of time where the swings work and the swings are really solid, and then there's periods of time where you may want to be more cash heavy, and maybe you're playing more scalp. So for example, right now, like the past 2 weeks would have been really, really good just to scalp, be all cash and just scalp here and there. Worst case scenario, you lose a few bucks. Best case scenario, you make a few dollars, right? I'm not like, for the swings, for me at least, my style, the swings is where the money's made. The money is in the swings. That is literally like, that's how it's done. That's where you have the biggest weeks, the killer weeks and stuff like that. But you can still take advantage of those scalps when they're there. And so you can at least put some bread on the table, right? To a degree, with the scalps. So that's my take on that. Let's see how things are pushing. SOS around $7. We'll see if it could get over 7. I'm just going to kind of hold that guy as Bitcoin stays fairly strong. Market pulling back a little bit. VWAP video, yeah, it's going to be helpful, especially for people who are looking to play these runners, because it's a really good guide tool. Like it's again, no indicator is perfect. No indicator is the best, and is going to be 100% accurate, right? But it's a great guide, and so it can be kind of an easy way to get yourself in or out of a position and say, okay, I'm looking to do this. If the VWAP holds, I'll stay in. If it doesn't hold, I'm out, right? So things are kind of riots pulling back a little bit too. So we'll see. Nasdaq is pulling back, riot pulling back, Bitcoin staying up there. I think we're seeing a correlation across some of these plays too, with not only Bitcoin, but also the overall market and the indexes. So You know, if tech starts selling off, if SPY starts selling off, you see, for example, Riot is pulling down right now, right? Riot's down at 55. So, I mean, if I wanted to take a scalp, I could. I just don't want to kind of push my luck too much on this one for right now. I'm just going to hold what I have. So look at this. SPY hit 390.92. Now the question, okay, look at this. See, this white line is VWAP right here. I'm going to zoom in, which is at 390. SPY has to hold. If SPY holds VWAP today, that'll be solid. We're probably going to all-time highs today or tomorrow, I would say, or maybe Friday. If SPY holds VWAP, which as of right now is 390, so pretty much 390. If SPY holds that, which it seems to be doing pretty well, we're probably going to all-time highs, which are sitting at, we zoom out, 394.17 is at the all-time high. Let's see if the pre-market was higher. 395.06 was the pre-market all-time high. So we'll see. We will see. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun to see how this goes. I think the bulls will be back in, bulls are probably back in control. I mean, look at this. SPY's pushing back. Yeah, bulls are looking in control. I'm going to take a Riot again. I'm going to take another 25 Riot. Let's see. If I can get 56.01, that would be awesome. There we go. So we got 56. I got a 56.01 fill. I'll look for this one up to 57. I'll play another dollar scalp. If it can get to 57, I'll take those 25 off at 57. We'll see if that works out. Maybe it doesn't, but, we already had a nice profitable scalp earlier, so we'll see. And we'll let that go to work in the background, and we'll see what else is going on. SOS is looking like it wants. If SOS can hold over 7, that could be a solid. It looks like it's reversing. So we'll see. Let me go back and see. APXT. How's APXT doing? Apex Technology position. Let's take a peek. I think we're going to get a push back into SPACs too. This has come back down. This looks like it was a decent dip. I mean, if you like this one, look at this chart was kind of cool, and it cracked that support trend. APXT is kind of sitting down here, down towards the lows or down towards a relative low. It did have these wicks down, but that was when the market was super weak. So you probably have worst case scenario if the market weakens out, you have another downside. But I think as long as the market stays relatively healthy, this will probably get a nice recovery, I would think. So I would say this thing makes a nice run back up. At least I would say I would look to 15 as a target potentially. 50 SMA. XCLA. How is this bad boy doing? XCLA could be a decent dip opportunity because they're looking at right now, okay, had some solid support down around $6 in the pre-market. You could probably, this could be even a scalp play from, where it's at now or down towards 6 up towards probably 650 to 680, 675. Could be like a 50-cent scalp from 625 to 675 if it reverses pretty well here. So we'll see. Let's check back at a Bitcoin. Yeah, this thing is just, these candles are just looking like the higher lows are just looking beautiful, higher highs. I mean, it's just looking so nice. 56, if we get over like 57,000, this would be fun. Let me see. While we are here, look at my Riot is up 40 cents off that scalp. If it hits, it'll be awesome. I mean, that's the type of scalp that I like to trade. Let's take a peek at Riot here while we're looking at it. So I grabbed it at 56. I missed the bottom, right? You're never going to get the bottom. But now we're at 50 cents on that. If 57 hits, that's another, what is that? Like a 2% move almost. I'll take that. Fairly, fairly stress-free, fairly low risk. We'll see if it hits. While we're doing that, let's see if I have any free stocks. I have one. I have one free stock to claim. Let's pull it up. CGC. Oh, look at that. We got CGC. That's interesting. I didn't think they'd give out a CGC free stock. That's cool. CGC is Canopy Growth. That's a decent play. I mean, especially if we get some more of that cannabis momentum, that CGC could be a nice, it's at like 30 something right now. 33, that could probably, return. Oh, look where CGC was a few weeks ago, 56. If we see the weed plays push back up, CGC, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes back up to the 40s, pretty quick. While we're speaking, look at Riot. Are we going to get our sell? Are we going to hit our sell? We're 4 cents away or something like that. Now, of course, we're going to pull back and I'm going to be like just off. Let's see if it hits 57. 57. And then we have 2 successful scalps. Now, again, what I do is on these scalps is I'll take my current swings. The way I'll trade around my core is I will have a core size or whatever I have currently on that stock. I'll usually usually double my position and look for a couple percent scalp, a 1 to 2, sometimes 3%, depends on what I see. So VWAP is sitting at 57.33, so I think 57 is a solid target, and just like that, boom, filled. So 2 successful scalps. We scalped from 57 to 58 about 20 minutes ago, and then we took it from 56 to 57 just now. So that's why I love scalping my own swings, because I'm the one that's been watching them for however long, right? I've been watching how it plays. I've been following momentum. I know, okay, Bitcoin has been holding up. Riot's pulling back. Market pulls back a little bit. That's your dip buy opportunity, right? Because then everyone's gonna be like, oh, the market pulled back, and then they're like, wait, Bitcoin's still up. Let me go back and buy Riot, and then it goes right back up. So we'll see if SOS now holding over 7, holding VWAP. VWAP is at 690. So SOS looks pretty decent too. Treasury bond auction today. Determine. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I want to be watching. I think what's key to watch here is let's go back to this. It's going to be the 10-year. So watch the 10-year today. So I'm looking at the 10-year U.S. government bond yields. If they come down closer to 150, that would be good. I mean, if this spikes up, usually you see a little panic sell in the market, and the market pulls back. So this has been kind of coming down off of where it was, and then today, it's holding around where it was. It's up a little bit, but I mean, it's not really up enough to be too noticeable in the market. So we'll see. If this thing pushes back to like 160, watch out. Watch for like a rug pull on SPY, right? So we'll have to see that. But SPY still holding over that 390. This is going to be interesting. Looking good today. SBR, CCIV finally moving. Let's see. We can take a look at read and then swing trades. I pretty much, it depends. So sometimes it's a short-term swing, whereas like some of these, like my Bitcoin swings, probably short-term swings. So for that, it could be like when I swing at least one night, right? So at least 2 days, I guess, overnight, 2 days, to sometimes a week plus. I mean, sometimes a month or so. I mean, it depends on the style of trade. If I'm looking for a bottomed out penny stock trade that I'm looking for a catalyst, I'll usually try to get in, quite early on that before, people are noticing, hey, this catalyst is coming, this is happening, so we'll see. We will see. Reed looks decent. This helped the 50 SMA, but it's looking like it wants to recover. So we take a look at this. It's downtrend, rough, had a decent downtrend reversal. It's holding up. If it can hold one, I would like to see it hold $1. Don't want to see it go below 1. If it holds 1, it's a decent idea. Cool and collective mood. That's what it's all about. You got to take the emotion out of the trade, right? So you get excited when you have a solid trade that goes according to plan and it works, like those 2 Riot scalps so far today. But also, right, when it works, okay, cool, it worked. This way, you don't end up freaking out when it doesn't work. You got to have that attitude on both ways, right? So that's that. When everything's fun, when everything's up, it's easy to come on and easy to be like all about this stuff. But you see on like other platforms too, right? And you notice it in views and attention that you get on and people who are interacting with videos. No one cares, right? When the market was down, no one cares. Like everyone leaves. It's like, oh, okay, I'm done. Like I'm done. So you can see the flush out of those who are actually serious and who are not. If you're not serious and you're not willing to kind of ride out what happened the past 2-3 weeks to get to days like today and days like yesterday when you have a pretty big day, right? When things are back up, or if you're a day trader, right, you probably did decent. You probably were able to take advantage of a lot of opportunities, a lot of oversold opportunities. So, you got to go through those tough times. And you got to be able to manage your emotions across both times. And you're seeing people get all pissed off and all that stuff, but it's like, there's no point to that stuff. So, whatever. USCG I'm pulling up right now because it's pushing up. So we'll see if the oil plays a little attention. They just have been pushing with the market, so we'll see how these kind of play out. That is that, at least for now. JE, I think JE is getting some attention. What is JE doing? JE was getting delisted, right? Yeah. So, okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, so let's pull it up. I didn't look exactly. I think they're getting delisted. So PRs from JE, Just Energy. I traded this stock. I've traded it before. Okay, let's see if it loads up. Following unprecedented winter storm in Texas, Just Energy receives Chapter 15 bankruptcy protection. Okay, so that's not ideal. You don't want to see that, right? But that said, look at this. The thing goes from 4, it goes down to 1. But it's suspended right now. It's halted up. It's a thin stock, low float. You get these kind of bankruptcy runs, as they call them, where like stocks just kind of run because they're going bankrupt, and it's like, let's run it up. Let's play it. And it's funny, but that's what we're seeing right now on JE. So resistance will be up around 350. If it can get up to 350, that's where you're going to probably see resistance. So these are super risky. These are not, I would never recommend these plays, but people trade them, and day traders will trade them, will play them. I don't know about the RBLX hype. I have not fallen into the hype, to be honest. I don't know enough about it. GTT. Let's see this bad boy. Breaking out. Yeah, look at this. So you kind of had a downtrending channel or something like that. So here's your downtrend. You can kind of see that we were in this rough channel of movement for quite some time, and now we broke out of the downtrend, and we're pushing back up over some of these highs from the downtrend. So now $3 doesn't look like it's unreasonable on JTT. So I haven't been following this one very closely. I wonder if do they have news? Oh, GTT, sorry, GTT. Yeah, there it is. Charter schools, select GTT to improve network agility and security. So there you go. There's your pop. That'll help. Up 38%. Okay, so SPY. This is getting kind of interesting. SPY at 390 right now. Let's see if it holds it. Yeah, we'll see if SPY holds up around this area. If not, then we may pull back a little bit. So we'll see. Thoughts on FRX? Yeah, I think it's going to take some time. That's not a stock I'm too worried about. I have a position in it, but what I'm doing on that one is I'm going to give it some time. We'll get closer to the merger and see if any more news comes out. I've been noticing too, I don't know about you guys on YouTube, if you're getting a lot of Beachbody ads, so FRX is the merger with Beachbody, SPAC. So getting a lot of Beachbody ads, so they're stepping up their ad game, at least. Yeah, SPY's pulling back pretty hard, at least right now. So the SPAC plays are weird though. They're kind of weird. Let's take a look at the daily on this one. Yeah, it's coming down to a really nice spot. So any more cash I get, I'll toss some in. It's in my IRA and it's in my long-term account. So that's the two places that I have FRX. But yeah, I'm giving it time. I'm not worried about it right now. Let it progress. I think it's going to be given if things go according to plan, if the merger happens and all that stuff, in a year you'll look back at these prices and laugh, I think. But that's just me. So we'll see. How's the Bitcoin holding up? Bitcoin, so this is an idea right now for another scalp opportunity because Bitcoin is holding up very, very nice, but market pulling back, SPY pulling back, okay? So since SPY is pulling back a little bit, it's looking like it wants to bounce here. This could be another opportunity. So Riot's at 57. I wouldn't take this one. Riot's got to get back over the VWAP, but maybe there's something else. So for example, SOS could be a decent idea. EBON looks like it could be a decent idea for a decent scalp opportunity. 720 up probably gets a nice push. If Bitcoin holds up, EBON was a stock that was trading, back when Bitcoin was at its highs, was trading over $10. So yeah, that's not a terrible idea scalp wise. So let's see. Anything else interesting going on? OLB is another crypto play that I had. It's super thin though, so I got it yesterday. I somehow timed the bottom on this one. I got a 622 average. I think I sold half. I had a 622 average somehow, and I timed the low of the day was 621. So I luckily scooped up the bottom and was immediately up on that. But OLB is another one that I think is like a 50 SMA bounce. Yeah, this thing could probably bounce up towards $8, and then we could see potentially what happens after there. So that's the two. This is ones that I like. Okay, look at Riot. Riot's breaking over view up. That looks good. So now I think to a degree, right? Look at Bitcoin, 56.4. It's holding up beautifully. A tight trade here. XELA. Let's see how that one. How is XELA doing? This is a decent, not a terrible idea. 560 stop is not a bad spot. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to see it drop below this 556, and if it does, I think XELA probably loses momentum. I think it may at some point today, but we'll see. QTT to rally back to highs. Well, starting today is not bad. I mean, GTT. Not too bad. This is not gonna be a bad thing for it. This is probably gonna be. I don't know enough about what they have going on behind the scenes, so I don't know what type of news people are waiting for on this guy. But that's a nice bottom reversal. 150 held up, and now you're up over $1 from the lows 3 days ago. So SOS, look at that. We were talking about SOS a second ago. As a scalp play, potentially, it was at 690. Now it's up 10 cents. Well, what is that? I mean, what's that type of move? From 690 to 7 is a 1.4% or so. It's pretty good. I mean, that's the type of day trade that I would be here to take, Got me Tilray at 26.40. Yeah, I mean, this Tilray it's up 5%, had a pretty big push in the pre-market, let it pull back and let it, consolidate and hold up. And, let's see what happens here. Give it some time, though. I would give it some time. Don't just, expect immediately this is going to be a ripper. I would give it some time on it. Let's see. JE is unhalting soon, I believe. Let's pull that bad boy up. This is going to be fun. I want to just watch this one for a second to see how it goes. So JE, right? Bankruptcy news. The thing it got halted down. So it got halted up a couple times. Now it got halted down. So we'll see if this thing can open up in a sec. Maybe it won't. Because after a couple halts, sometimes they go from like 5-minute halts to 10-minute halts. So we'll see. Let's see. Chewy, a good buy. Let's take a peek at that guy. After we open up with the JE, if it opens up in the next minute or so, we'll go take a look at Chewy. Riot. I want Riot to hit my sell so I can ride my last bid up with Bitcoin and be mostly out of that play too. Let's see. SOS at 7. SOS breaking over 7 now. 705. Interesting. So, such a good market for scalpers, for sure. It is for sure. The Roblox, I don't know enough about that IPO. So, I don't know enough about the company to say. So, JE opened back up. Now it's kind of jockeying around in this. Let's refresh this for a second. So, let's see how it holds up. These are kind of the funny runs. I wouldn't be surprised if JE makes a run back up to, $3 or $4. Tesla 750 by end of day. Okay, let's take a peek. Chewy. This bad boy is at 81, 82. That's a decent dip. Yeah, this actually lined up really well. This dip we had, look at that. You can connect this bottom with this top from back in September. That's when you can see that. That's beautiful support. We have some solid support down to 75. So I think it's a solid play. I mean, I wouldn't want to hold it below 75, technically speaking. Obviously, if you're investing for longer term, then different story. But below 75 is that. So I think it can recover up to $100. So your risk reward there is like $6 to the downside or $7 to the downside for about $15+ upside if you're taking a trade on it for a shorter term bounce. As long as the market stabilize and hold up, probably pretty solid. Markets are pulling back a little bit. So SPY is only up a half. Nasdaq has pulled back a little bit too. So we're seeing a lot of stuff actually pulling back. Yeah, SOS pulled right back, just like that. Interesting. Very interesting. Riot, man. Come on. How's Bitcoin? Bitcoin still holding up over 56. There's Tesla. Let's pull it up. Pulling back, yeah. VWAP is resistance right now at like 703-ish. So who knows? Tesla's a weird stock though. Who knows? It could turn any second and just run. So is GME up on the gainer list? Yes, it is. GME is on the gainer. Oh wow, it hit over 300. It broke over 300 and then it fell off. So we'll see if it can reclaim 300 now on GameStop. That's interesting. That's very interesting to see that this is just kind of holding up quite well. How often do you use a 1 minute chart? I used to use 1 minute chart all the time, but I just don't do it anymore because I think it's just, there's too much kind of craziness action that will freak you out. There's no need for that stuff. See, the 50 SMA or 50 MA on the 1 minute is, people use that too. I don't really use it on the 1 minute. I use it on the daily chart. That's just my take. I don't know. It could be a helpful guide, just like any other indicator. I would say on the 1 minute charts, VWAP is pretty much like my go-to indicator. If I was to use 1 minute chart as to what indicator I would use, the most weight in. The MAs on 1 minute, not a huge, nothing against them. I'm just not a huge proponent of using them. I just haven't found them super helpful. I don't know. It's a guide though, for sure. So yeah, everything looks like it pulled back quite a little bit after and things have pushed up. So we'll see. Meanwhile, GameStop is pushing up AMC. The AMC is holding up. I think 13 is not out of the question. We got close though. We got pretty close to 13. 1250 plus is pretty good on that. Earnings today though, right, for AMC. I wonder how that's going to do. I wonder if it will do anything. It may or may not. DPW under 4. Pulling back with the market, but here's another opportunity. I think market pulled back a little bit. As long as the market doesn't just tank and go red on the day, Bitcoin's holding up quite well. So scalp opportunities, I don't know. Scalp opportunities may be presenting themselves. Nasdaq has pulled back quite a bit actually. Yeah, has pulled back quite a bit. SPY is no longer holding that 390 now. Okay, so this is an example, right? We fell below that 390 and now VWAP 390 is resistance. We can't get above. So if SPY can't get above that 390, it looks like it kind of fell right back below, and that's now resistance. It depends on how long I'll keep a stock in a swing. It depends. If I see like, okay, there's a catalyst by this date, then I'll give it to a certain time frame. Sometimes there's patience plays, and so if there's a super long play that I'm in something that's still bottomed out and technically speaking, and fundamentally the company hasn't dropped any PRs, I'm waiting for a PR or I'm waiting for news or something like that for the stock to come off a bottom. I'll wait quite some time, especially in a swing trade market where it's things are fairly healthy, in a fairly healthy swing trade market, which right now maybe things are trying to come back, but I still would be a little cautious on the swing trades. I would just lower my exposure to that. So if I was in with like a full position size or close to a full size, then I will just trim that down, cut it down in half or cut it down to like a quarter position size and just leave that trade on because I don't see a reason to sell it. I think the impatience sometimes has hurt me. So the second I sell it, the next day or the next week or the next couple of days, the thing runs and gets the news that I was hoping for. So yeah, I give it some time, but I'll trim it obviously if I see my capital being used better somewhere else, right? Tesla's pulled back. Yeah. This is going to be fun to watch though over the next couple of weeks. How does Tesla respond and how does it recover? So I think if it holds around 675, that could be still very bullish in my opinion. So we'll see if it reverses back out of this downtrend. And we got some pretty good consolidation up here in this range from like 900 to like 800. It was a solid consolidation. So that's going to be a key area if Tesla gets back up there to grind on through. So we'll have to watch that in the future. appreciate that. Everyone, yeah, hit that thumbs up button. That is all I asked. That's awesome. If you guys hit that. Oh, look at that. Riot pulling back. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing, look at the market. If we look at the bottom right and it's still a bit small, that's why I keep that up on my platform so that I can see how the S&P is doing, how the Dow is doing, how the Nasdaq. They're all green, but the Nasdaq's only up 0.44%, where it was up 1.25%, like, 30 minutes ago. So it's pulled back quite a bit. And we're seeing that with Tesla pulling back too. So a lot of stocks pulling back a little bit. So it's going to be good dip buy opportunities though. Bitcoin is still holding up very well. So if you wanted a scalp opportunity, it's not a terrible idea. I think the thing that I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest, is the whole correlation with these indices. Like, I think we're seeing like stocks really, really correlate with these different indices, like with the S&P, with the Nasdaq, with the Dow, like a lot. So you see a pullback there, and everything rips to the down. Everything pulls back, right? You see a push up. Some stocks push up, some stocks don't. It's like, whatever. Just weird. It's weird. So VISL went right on the day. VISL was up pretty nice. Just kind of pulled back pretty hard. Hit the support we saw, the lows in pre-market down around 310. So Riot back to a favorable spot for a scalp opportunity. See, I just don't know, because the Nasdaq's pulling back, SPY's pulling back. SPY's under 390, so I'm not a huge fan of needing to take that again. 2 successful scalp trades, I'm good with that. All my swings, right? What else? CETX, I think, is pushing up. It's the top gainer of the day. Look at this. CETX now up over this $4 briefly, and then it pulled back. If it gets over 4 again, it looks pretty good. 4 is pretty key. This might have a nice run in it for today. That looks good. Scalped it. Nice. If it came down to like 350-ish, I would be interested in taking it maybe. USCG's at 5%. Interesting. We'll see if it holds. Maybe it won't hold. PLTR pulled back a lot. Yeah. That pulled back with the Nasdaq quite significantly. But it just shows you though how you at least as of right now in the current trading environment, looking to the leader or looking to the indice that's leading the sector, for example, like tech, or looking at the S&P, and having that pulled up on one screen, and then having your platform pulled up, or at least on your phone, or who knows, S&P pulled up on your phone, and then watching, like, for example, PLTR, there's a potential right here, for example, right? If it, let's say it bounces here, for example. If it bounces from 25, if you were to go back to VWAP 25.60, that's a 2.5% almost move. So there's a potential now it fell below 25. There's a potential 2.5% move that you could scalp if you're watching the indices, if you're watching the Nasdaq, and it pushes back up. So that's that. Big pull downs right now on some stocks. So we'll see if this holds up. VISL just fell off a cliff. The thing was up like 3%. Now it's down like 4%, like just randomly. EBON thing is plummeting down. Bitcoin play was up. It's down over $1 from the pre-market highs. Riot's only up 5% now. Riot's at 55. Jeez. Right? So you see how it's not necessarily correlating to Bitcoin. It's correlating more to the overall markets, some of these stocks, at least shorter term, So the oils are waiting for me to go on holiday before and they're definitely going to do that. They are definitely going to do that. Let's see. Yep, the oil plays are gonna wait until I leave, and then they're gonna run. All right. Well, things are kind of quieting down, so let's see. See if we get a bounce in SPY. Let's take a look at SPY. It's bouncing a little bit here. Let's see if it can bounce. But I'll probably wrap things up fairly soon, because that is the open live. So we did that. I mean, we're going to do these every week. I mean, next week, for those who are on now, next week we're not going to have a live in the morning on Wednesday, so I'll be away. But, we'll go forward with this as I think it's a solid, it's fun. So let's see. Before we head out, what else is going on? Anything else that's going crazy? CETX holding up. It's not back above for yet. ENVB. Putting in higher lows at VWAP. This could be a spot right here at $6. You can even play it down to 6 for a trade. If you want to, we can take it maybe, honestly. So if I have hotkeys set up, so you can use, like, I have a video on hotkeys I think recently too. If I was to use this, for example, on hotkeys, I can go Control B, and that buys at the bid, for example, on ENVB. And of course, it puts in the order, and the stock just pops up. So I missed that, right? But now it's at 620. So it would have been cool if I got filled, but I didn't. So I have the hotkey set up, and I can also do Control S from, at least for my settings, and I can just sell. It just buys 100, sells 100. I don't use them too much, and I trade different price point stocks. So 100 shares sometimes on like a stock like Riot at $55 is a lot different than 100 shares on a stock like ENVB at $6, right? So we'll see. Bitcoin dropping a little bit. Wednesday morning's good. All right, so let's see. I'm not going to get filled in this one. This would have been kind of a fun little scalp that I could have taken. So I had it at 609. I missed it. Now it's at 625. So right there, right now, this is an example of scalping some of these these momentum plays. There's risk. There's risk. But from 609, for example, up to 625 as a potential price target, that's 2.5%. You stack up 2.5% left and right, I'll take that. I'll take that here and there, right? So let me cancel that guy because there's no need to do that. And I figure I guess we can wrap things up. So for right now, market's kind of shaky. It's bouncing a little bit right where it's at. So we'll see if it bounces from here. We'll see how it goes. Would like to see it stay green. I mean, we have some solid room to the downside. Obviously, if things do sort of start falling after yesterday's big move. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have some videos on how I find stocks to trade in the playlist on how to find stocks. I don't have a specific scan though. I don't have a specific setting on Finviz. There's really in those videos on the playlist on how to find stocks to trade. I think I go through some examples. I go through some stuff I look for, but there's no specific stuff I look for. For example, right here, guys. I mean, this is just a quick little thing. VWAP dip on ENVB. So it pushes up to $7. It dips down, holds VWAP around $6. I was looking for a scalp at 609 and it missed. I missed my order. It popped up too quick. And look at this. And now it's at 630. So just like that, quick, 3% plus move like that. So those types of moves are there. Scalps are there right now. It's a scalper's market, it seems like, for right now. So market's bouncing a little bit off of where it has pulled back to. We'll see if it gets back up to the highs of this morning. But other than that, hopefully everyone is doing well. We will do this again next week, probably Thursday or Friday, not Wednesday, but going forward, we'll roughly do Wednesday mornings, and we'll see how that goes. So Sunday night stream also will not be around for that, so I'll post stuff in the community tab, but I will not be available. I will not be here for a live stream, but I have some good videos coming. I have a VWAP video coming. I have candlestick video coming. I filmed those yesterday, so those should be coming in the next couple of days. And hopefully you guys are doing well. Stay green. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.